All right, friends. Hey, last week we talked about the 5 benefits of living within and establishing core values, but this week we're going to teach you how to create core values, because I think a lot of people and couples and families are like, okay, core values, how do I even establish them,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but what do I do?
Right, a lot of people actually teach, this is something you can look up a lot because people don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
So how do we establish core values?
Yeah, and we have 3 simple steps, and we really got serious about our core values when our friend Mike Merriam wrote this book, Closer Than You Think. And this is a quick read, by the way, friends. It's honestly one of our top books. And
high value per page.
It really is high value per page. He breaks it down. He makes it really simple, and he goes into a lot more in this book in such a short book. But we're going to take 3 steps for you guys to make it really simple. And we talk about how we do core values as a family. But the truth is that we started with core values on our own. Yeah, I established my core values. You established your core values. We came together and we're like, okay,
what are our shared values?
Yeah, what are our shared values? And then we brought the kids involved and we said, what are your values? And collectively, we've agreed on what our shared values are, and they align with our individual values.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and so even if they didn't, let's say they didn't, like somebody had some core values that weren't, translating to the other parties in the family, it's okay to have family core values and your own core values. But I think what's important for this video is to, number one, know that you can do them yourself as a couple and as a family. And there's 3 simple steps. The first step is good old Google. Grab yourself a Google search bar and just type in core values, lists of core values. And when you see these lists, you'll find lists of like 50 different words that come up. Second step is take that piece of paper, print it out, look at it on your screen and highlight the things that resonate with you, right? And narrow it down to 5.
Yeah, too many values equals too much,
confusion.
Right, too much confusion, which we talked about clarity,
yes.
In the last video.
Right, we are trying to make quicker decisions, have better reactions, right? Be more confident, and so distill it down.
So this first step is really to get clear on what the values are.
Right.
And so that's the Google searching and figuring out like, okay, well, what are my values? And you can find, like, it's so great that these people put actually really long lists,
beautiful,
right? Because then they can find something that resonates with you, right? Because we'll talk about this in another video, but values are different from priorities, right? Your priorities actually are created from your values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so another thing that I find really interesting in a lot of these lists is there are words like honesty and integrity, right? Those could mean the same thing, but for you, right, one may resonate. Like integrity is one of ours.
Right, exactly.
And so honesty could be it, but the word integrity really resonated with us individually and as a family.
Which is a great segue into what the second step is in establishing your values. And then if integrity or honesty or whatever it is that resonates with you, then why does it? Why does each one of these actual values matter to you? That's the second step. So why do they matter?
Right. Simon Sinek has this book called Start With Why. And when you know your why, it's easier to stay present, stay focused with that thing that matters. Like if we don't determine why something matters to us, new habits, new practices are so hard anyway, right, to incorporate into our lives. So really understanding the why and sharing that, right, sharing that with each other.
So one of our values is courage, right?
Yeah.
And so we can break this down, what we're talking about here, of why these are important to you, in 2 little pieces, like what does this mean? And why is it important, right?
Right.
So like if we take courage, for example, it's important to us because uncertainty and fear, courage is important because uncertainty and fear hold us back, and we need courage to move forward, so that's why it's important. And so then what does it mean? What does courage mean? It means that we do hard and uncomfortable things because our goal is always more important than the fear that you might experience in the moment.
Right.
So important, and why it, what it means.
Right. And then the other thing is, the last one, the third step, is what actions do you take to align with this value? And I think this is where that practice comes in. And this is where you start to really embody and incorporate your values into your day-to-day life. And this is where we really see the change, that we really see that happiness factor coming in, right?
It's like values in action, values in action. Like for me personally, like courage is so important to me. So now I've established, we've talked about why it's important and what it means. Great. Okay, cool.
What do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
And so like on my planner, I have a weekly checkbox that says try something new.
Yes.
Try something new. I have this what's called forced discomfort. I even flew to an event one time and had no place to stay.
He didn't even get a room.
Yeah. Not smart. However,
it's like, was that really the right choice?
I had courage in order to do that.
Yeah.
I forced discomfort in order to do that. And of course, I ended up having a place to sleep. I didn't sleep on the street. But, it was a little more challenging and not the smartest thing. But, I like that. Trying new things helps me live the value of courage, which we talked about improving confidence, right? So that's all down the line, So the 3 steps then are to get clear on what the values are.
Yep.
Then discover why it's important and what that means to you. And the third step is...
how do you put it in action?
Right. What are my actions
Yes.
and commitments around that value?
Right. And then stay consistent.
Oh, yeah. Consistent.
Stay consistent. Don't give up.
Yep.
Stay consistent.
Keep on going.
Yeah.